If you are the, please enter. Thank you. You are the only participant in this conference.
Wonderful. Okay.
The recording has started.
All right. Welcome, everybody. I want to say something that launches us into what I had as the main topic for tonight, which is how to become your own Messiah. It sounds provocative. I know there are many groups that have used this terminology as points of contention about themselves, setting themselves off from other parts of the community and rising themselves above, that they're special and so on and so forth. It's nothing to do with this. So what does it mean to be a Messiah? Anybody know what the term means? To be a Messiah.
Save or redeemed.
Excuse me?
Save or redeemed.
Redeemed, right? So you be redeemed, right? And to save. Yes? Yes. So Messiah means to, yes.
Dr. Epstein, I was thinking Mashiach comes from the same, from the root moshka, which means oil. So Messiah is an anointed one.
We're going to get to that.
Oh.
And also in the Hebrew language, Messiah and serpent have the same numerical value. So that means the world of the serpent is the world in which we play ourselves off again to become this very development that I'm talking about. We need the world. We need the world of enslavement to be around us. We need the world and the mistakes that it imposes on us and the errors that it forces us into, that we allow it to happen. We have to play ourselves off against it, to resist it, and to find our way and to extract ourselves from this enslaved life. That's what we brought on ourselves, and that's what we need to do. So so Messiah means, thank you very much, it means save and anoint. So oil is the part of the process of anointing. So what does it mean to become anointed and to become saved? Well, we've had in the history of the Western tradition, we've had saviors that have come, two prominent ones, three of them that have come, that are very prominent in the Western tradition, are Abraham, Moses, and Jesus. Three very prominent saviors. And consequently, and this is the holiday of Jesus and the resurrection, so it's a nice time to talk about this. So these are three saviors that have come. There have been saviors in other traditions, Buddha as an example of one of them, Lao Tzu in China and so on. There have been examples of saviors in modern times, even in a political arena, Gandhi and so on have been a savior for India and so on. So there are saviors. But these saviors are on this meta level, this level of changing the status of civilization substantially and so on. The point that I'm making is twofold. I'm not a Messiah by any means, so I'm not that. And I'll come back to that in a moment. The other is, this is a time, because of the peril that we're in the world, more than it would seem that it's been in previous millennia, that there's not going to be an advent of another. There will not be an advent of another. What's going to be the advent is that each of us, each of you, me, are going to become our own messiahs. We're going to become our own saviors. And this is what was intended by these guys. What was intended by Abraham, Moses, and Jesus was that we follow and imitate them. That we imitate them so that we can provide for ourselves the means, the methods, the tools, and the possibilities for becoming our own savior. The topic has to do particularly with this holiday that we're in now, two holidays that have come together congruently, which is the holiday of Purim and the holiday of Easter. Well, Easter means two things. It means dawn or rising, and it means spring. So it's a renewal. It's a holiday of renewal and a holiday of a rising and the dawning of the rising of the sun, or the rising of light, rather. And so it's not by chance that there was an arising that took place, and that's really important for this occasion, because what happened on this holiday time at this tomorrow uh, uh, reawakens the understanding that is the central piece of all spiritual traditions of the West. Every tradition of the West is focused around this one central point, which is the resurrection. And resurrection is sort of the anteroom. It's sort of the foyer for the main hall. The resurrection then is an awakening back to life from the dead, and the news that's been delivered that the possibility of overcoming this very frightening sense of mortality that plagues us, and it's always looming over our heads throughout our lives, can be overcome, discarded, defeated, whatever terms you might like to use that you feel comfortable with. So death doesn't have to be the end point. And consequently, we have someone who comes back to life from the dead and announces and is announced and is seen by 518 people who meet this person who returns and is looking like he's about half his age, about 16. And they sit and have food and so on with him, and they eat. And they realize it's this person because his voice is exactly the same. So all the traditions of the West focus on this as not as a metaphor, but as a concrete reality. I'm talking from spiritual point of view, not from organized theology. From a spiritual point of view, this is what's in store. So this is the anteroom, the resurrection, to what's known that's coming to us in a period that is unfolding now, called the end of days, which leads us to what's called the world to come. And the world to come will be a world that's significantly different from this, but yet retains some of the strands of this world, and so on. And so it will be a world of quite different, and has the capacity for there to be eternal life. The field of biology now is very hot on this topic of immortality. That's their term for it, which is a term of time, immortality. But they're hot on it, and they have made great strides, and even claiming that they have now the ability to turn the genes back on from decaying, and for the life to perpetuate itself, and for people to become more youthful, and so on. And we're involved now with also this incredibly important time called Purim, which carries so much hope, just as the Easter carries hope. Easter and Purim are two holidays, two parts of life that offer tremendous hope to us as human beings for finding a way into a new life for ourselves, and out of the suffering that we are finding, and the difficulties that besiege us, and the distresses that are constantly after us in everyday life. I'll say a little bit more about the Purim situation, because there's something that's very urgent that's said in that story, and the overall story is that, and the deep meaning of this story of Purim, which means lots, is that what's impossible can become possible. Whatever you feel is impossible can be made possible. It's really a very important message of hope. And we sort of laden ourselves with kinds of ideas about the impossibility of death being overcome, the impossibility that this dread disease that's terminal can be overcome, and so on. It's impossible, and you hear that very often through the institutional settings, such as the medical arts, the political arena, government, natural science, and so on, that there's so many impossibilities, that it's impossible for this, that, and the other thing to happen. And lo and behold, things take place which show that it's not the case, that the natural laws that have been set forth in the natural science community about that there's a survival of the fittest and natural selection, and dog eat dog, and so on, can be overcome. That is, it can be turned around, and it's turned around quite commonly, truly. And you may find that if you start to observe your life, and what you think is impossible in your life to happen takes place, and you have no way to account for it by any means of logic or your ordinary conditioned thinking. When I talk about the wisdom tradition, we talk about what was, is, and will be. So it talks about the entire encapsulation of linear time and how things are evolving, how they were, how they are, how they will be. In the Western tradition, the wisdom tradition, we know there are four catastrophes that beset us, that have governed life on earth. First catastrophe was the eviction from Eden, the eviction from paradise. So we lost our way, and we're born here, well as Adam and Eve's, to find our way back to this redemptive situation, to redeem ourselves back from the mistake that was made. The second one is the flood. We see by the flood issue that the world's geology is in pretty bad shape, right? The floodwaters are getting higher in and of themselves. The air is polluted, the food is polluted, fracking is taking place. There are a great many earthquakes and volcanoes. Along with these turbulences in the universe that's surrounding us, we're beset with more than ever with earthquakes, volcanoes, tornadoes, and hurricanes in the northern hemisphere, monsoons and typhoons, tsunamis in the southern hemisphere. So we're inundated with a great perturbation and disorder in the geology of the world. The infrastructure, just on practical terms here in this country, is suffering, is collapsing, and so on. The third catastrophe is the building of the Tower of Babel. The building of the Tower of Babel was the introduction of dualism into this world. That we're born in a dual world. We're born as a Gesundheit must be true. We're born in a unified way, as a unitary being. But during the course of our upbringing, there's a split that takes place, and we're born in and are conditioned to feel and to experience and to take on a very dangerous mental process called doubt. Doubt is a function of this dualistic way of being in the world. This and that. And how do I make choices? And yeah, but if I do this, then this. And then, yeah, but if I did that, that could lead to this. And you notice how we're so much suffused by doubt, how we're overcome by doubt, how doubt paralyzes our actions, how doubt paralyzes our very essence of movement in the world and our ability to remain mobile, to become mobile. We remain static, and the body reflects this. The body becomes sick because the energies in the body are stagnating. The doubt is connected to it. There's a relationship between the physical, the emotional, the mental, the social, and the moral. They're all reflecting of each other. And this is not in the current medical model, doesn't understand this or utilize this understanding at all. So it's all reflective. And so if there's a disorder in one of the systems, the other systems will reflect it. And doubt is the seed source for all the disturbances in the world. It harks back to the Garden of Eden story, where they're living in a unitary existence with the source. Says, listen only to my voice, and don't bother with anything else. And certainly that beautiful tree over there that looks very nice, don't eat the fruit of that. That's the tree of the knowledge of duality of the Tower of Babel. It's the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Don't eat it, because you eat it, you die. So already what was imposed on us was the possibility of death by eating that tree of knowledge. And of course, the couple in Eden are very much now in doubt. What do? I was listening to this one voice, but then another voice came in. And a voice enters the garden and says, hey, what are you doing? You can become God. All you have to do is eat the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, and you got it. You got all that is not available that supposedly is not available to you, and it's there for you. And what do? And so Adam goes to sleep in the corner, takes a snooze, And Eve is, kind of wondering what on earth to do. And she's listening to one voice, but hearing another voice, listening to one, hearing the other, two. So the voice of doubt is penetrating into her soul, what to do. And so I've heard the one, but I got this enticement for the other, and I've been given the possibility of being the master of the world. What do I do? And so she's torn between this and that, this and that, this and that, this and that. That's how we walk around in life, because we're torn always between two things constantly, and so on. And what she does is to allay the doubt and to bring it to an end, to resolve it. She reaches and she eats, and she says, finally, I put an end to the situation. I've been able to, I feel much better because I'm not really faced with this incredible angst that's not describable about what to do with this situation. So what she does is, by eating that, is that she then births civilization into the world, which is based on this dual principle of being split. And we are born of two natures, a soul nature and an animal nature or a material nature. We're born of two natures, finding ourselves being too much given over to the material side, and we've split ourselves from our soul nature. And we live in a split life, and a split life that is governed in our very day existence by distressing emotions and distressing thoughts and all kinds of disturbances, physical disturbances in the physical body. When it goes into disturbances, the physical body's in doubt. It's its way of stating that it's in doubt, and doubt rules the roost. Doubt rules the roost. And the fourth catastrophe was Egypt, and Egypt was the enslavement, being enslaved in a world that's ruled by hedonism and sensory pleasure and hypermaterialism and enslavement, the world of enslavement. So the world that we find ourselves living in every day is really a world of enslavement, one that's created by us, ourselves co-creating it with the world about us, but we have allowed ourselves to create in a slave way for our lives. So this brings us to the necessity for the exodus from Egypt. That was the fourth. That was one of the deep meanings of the fourth, around this fourth catastrophe, the exodus from the world of enslavement and entrapment. Bowing down before another human, a way of enslavement. There are many ways that are subtle, that come upon us, and how we give into all these enslavements and so on, keeps us in Egypt, keeps us enslaved. When we're enslaved, we become weak and vulnerable, and as we become weak and vulnerable, our body wears out, and we go into a state of decay, and that decay is a prelude to demise and to death. We have to escape from Egypt, and in escaping from Egypt, we will repair the building of the Tower of Babel, and in doing that, we will also have some influence on the geology breaking up, and in doing that, we'll have the capacity to return to the state of bliss and existence that existed before we made this error of allowing ourselves to be enslaved. The ancient world, there were in the communities. The community was like a little village, like a village. Could be larger than that, but it was a living space for people, a village. And so it had a circumference, and at the end of the circumference, there was a big black stone. Some of you familiar with Islam know about the big black stone because people journey to Mecca, do the Hajj to journey around the big black stone, which they turn around 7 times and so on. It's a revered item within the Islamic world. So there's a black stone that's put at the end of the community, at the end circumference. And what is that black stone? That's the dividing point between the profane life, which doesn't mean profanity as we know it now, but it's the life of the everyday life, the day life. And then beyond the stone is the wilderness, the world of the night, the world of Esther, the world of the night. Easter is the world of the day coming. Esther is the world. It's the world of the night, the dream, the dark, the unknown, the holy, death, possibly. It could deliver you. It could destroy you. It could help you. It could harm you. You don't know. It's a world. It's a world that we would call in a scientific way. And by the term science, I don't mean the thing science solely, because the thing science is just one of a number of sciences that has its place, but not the enormous place that it's taken in everybody's consciousness. So, in the world of knowing, science, knowing, there is this differentiation between the day world, the night world, and the possibility for coming to know yourself. And they have, as it's said, to be scientifically consistent and sound, the subject, you, me, we're subjects in this world. And we're not objects of other people. You don't never want to make yourself to be an object of another person. One of the two greatest sticking points that exist to make relationships not work in the world is this, what I'm talking about. Me real, you shadow. Me subject, you object. And I treat you as an object. I objectify you. So you have no other meaning to me other than someone who's there as for utilitarian use in one form or another. That's your function. And on that basis, not alone, but on that one, the relationships will falter and will fall apart on the basis of that. So to be scientifically, in the general context, sound and consistent, the subject, and this is millennial old, it's from the beginning of recorded history, the subject coming to know yourself as subject, to know yourself, as it says in the entrance to the Oracle of Delphi, know thyself. It's all over the place. Every tradition in the world wants you to know yourself, east or west, shamanistic, Eskimo, I don't care where it comes from, the whole option that's available to us is to know yourself. The subject comes to know yourself as subject by subjective means. What does that mean by subjective means? That means that you go inside, you explore inwardly to find out who you are, what you're doing here, your purposes for living, and your mission on earth, your need, and what the meaning is of your life. You find it by going in. So the subject comes to know yourself as subject by subjective means, by going in. You have an inner source of wisdom, a higher source of wisdom that we're showing you to make contact with. And if you don't take the steps to be the subject, knowing yourself as subject by subjective means, you won't bother to look. You'll run to the doctor's office to get something. And therefore the scientific the inconsistency sets in. Not just there, but in other fields. The subject coming to know himself as subject by objective means, scientifically unsound and unwarranted. The subject, you, us, we can't come to know ourselves by objective means. Not possible. That's a falsehood that's been perpetrated on us. You can't come to know yourself only by subjective means. Can you come to know yourself by the self-exploration? It's been the dictum of 5,000 years that's been given to us. This is the way to go. That's how you come to know who you are, what's going on here, what games are being played, who's playing the game. Look at the operator of the game. Forget the game at the moment. Look at the operator of the game. What do you think about the operator of the game? Is the operator of the game truthful, honest, transparent, and so on? So you know immediately. You want to see if who and what the operator of any game is. So you want to pay attention. So you're asking more and more to know yourself more and more about where you stand, and that you're not going to be an object for other people's use in any way. And should that happen, no blame, no condemnation, no self-abnegation, nothing. Say, okay, made an error, I catch it next time. Stop talking to yourself. Talk to an invisible reality. Talk to an invisible reality that's there. the invisible reality, the soul and its oversoul, and then there's an oversoul that resides with the absolute one mind. There's these three levels of soul, even beyond that, but it resides with the absolute one mind. Let that become part of your life. Let the invisible reality begin to set in as you begin to become your own Messiah. Because all these cats everywhere in the world are showing you in one way or another, whether you go through a shamanic journey or so on, you're seeing there's an invisible reality. The planet is a little ball in this incredible emptiness. There's an incredible invisible reality that's here to sustain and support us. Let's take advantage of it. So you got to find the way, and so you get the tools and the methods, the steps, and the processes to do this. People who have chairs, have arms on their chairs, please use the arms. So sit up straight, keep your feet flat on the floor. And begin to breathe evenly and readily. Don't cross your arms, don't cross your legs. Feel comfortable so you don't feel, encroached on by a belt or whatever. So you're feeling at ease. And begin to breathe evenly and regularly. Breathing long, slow exhalations through the mouth and brief exhalations through the nose. You breathe out long and slow, and you breathe in normally through the nose, or briefly. Like that. Okay. So as you do that, you may find distressing emotional states diminishing, feeling quiet, centered, calm, peaceful, balanced, knowing that you're making contact with your inner source of wisdom or your higher source of wisdom. And now on the next long out breath, see yourself in a cave with paintings of animals, ancient animals, on the walls. If you have trouble seeing or imagining this, imagine yourself there. If you have trouble, hear it. Or if your powerful senses touch the walls. Or if it's smell the walls. These animals become alive. Have with you a belt. And lasso the one you are most afraid of. This is imagination, and anything can happen. It is the work of making the impossible possible, which gives it its special cachet above all other kinds of interventions. Ascend from the cave, taking the animal with you. See it in the light of day, being dried by the sun. Feeling all the while what your feelings are here now. Bury what's left. Then breathe out one time slowly. Ascend a staircase that is there in the place where you are. Ascend 5 steps and remove your coat. After doing so, ascend the next 5 steps and remove your shirt or blouse or sweater. And after doing so, breathe out and ascend the next 5 steps, removing your underclothes. After doing so, ascend the next 5 steps and remove your shoes. Quickly, take an out breath, breathe out 1 time, ascend the next 5 steps, and remove your socks. Breathe out 1 time slowly, ascend the next 5 steps, and remove your pants, or slacks, or skirt. Breathe out 1 time slowly, ascend the next 5 steps, and if there's any underwear still that remains, remove it. And finally, climb the last 10 steps, bringing you to the 45th step. And throw away anything that you're carrying. Breathe out and find yourself here close to God, and know that God is near you. Have yourself naked here, covered by a mantle of light. Keep this experience for yourself, and then descend more quickly to the base of the staircase. See the staircase becoming glistening white. Find those discarded clothes and bury them in a hole at the base of the staircase. Cover it with earth. And after finishing all of that, put on your everyday clothing. You're still covered by the light. Breathe out 1 time slowly. See your aura and its color, except for the halo around your head. And now you return to your everyday life. Keep what you've discovered for yourself, as whatever you discover belongs to you, and it's yours forever. And then breathe out and open your eyes.